Alright, so today I'm back with yet another chapter review, and today we will go over chapter 289, and let me just say that it's one of the most exciting chapters we have gotten in a while, as ISAGI and Kaiser finally show what their teamwork goes for, and they get extremely close to the goal, but I don't want to say any more, so you will just have to sit back and watch to find out what happens. Anyway, please leave a like, and a comment, as well as join the Discord server. But anyway, with that out of the way, let's get into it. So for chapter 289, we start off with ISAGI looking really menacing, with his metavision eyes, while we see a puzzle piece of Ness's face being broken in half. Under ISAGI, we see Kaiser, who honestly just looks annoyed at this point as he says Ness's name before telling him to just give up on soccer. Ness goes into a shock state because of this, as his face freezes up, but he manages to snap back and say no. He looks down at the ground while trembling as he tells Kaiser that he doesn't want to. The background gets dark behind him, and he tells Kaiser that he is here for the sole reason of making Kaiser the best in the world. Kaiser has then turned his back, and the wind makes his hair move freely as he asks Ness if he can't feel what is happening here. Ness looks at Kaiser, but is confused and asks him what he means. We then see 3 small panels of Shido, Rin, and Igarashi, as Kaiser explains that the heat of those risking their lives in this battle of egos. After that, he gets real close to Ness's face and tells him that this is no place for those who live for someone else. He then looks right into Ness's eyes with a terrifying facial expression as he says that pigs without autonomy should get lost. Ness is shocked, but Kaiser continues as he says that those without individualized talent are trashed. Ness once again struggles to get out his words before he looks up with big puppy eyes and says that he doesn't have a reason to play soccer besides making Kaiser the best in the world. Kaiser then takes a really deep breath before laughing a bit sinister and saying that talking won't make him understand. He then starts to walk away while saying that it's not like he's still angry at Ness, but just that he doesn't care about anyone who can't keep up. In the next panel, we see that Kaiser has walked towards ISAGI's side, and they have their backs turned, while saying that ISAGI and him are innovating, and they don't need any uncreative traditionalist pigs. Hearing this makes him freeze up as he can't say anything, and just looks down towards the field. We then get into ISAGI's head as he looks at Ness, and says that right now, Ness just fell behind the rapid changes happening all around him. We then see Karasu, Charles, and Raichi, while ISAGI continues saying that nobody expects anything from him anymore. Without Kaiser, he can't shine. After that, ISAGI's eyes gets a bit weird as they somehow looks different, and they are almost in the shape of a chessboard while calling Ness's talent dead in the water. We then leave ISAGI, and instead goes over to his rival Rin, who thinks that this is the worst possible situation. He starts to walk, as he thinks that he wants to destroy ISAGI, but if he tries, then ISAGI will use it against him and counter. He then looks down at his hand and says that to surpass that, he needs a stronger destructive impulse. Thinking back to his broken toys, he then sticks his tongue out like always and says that he needs to find another way to destroy. His eyes are fixated on ISAGI, as we can see him in Rin's reflection, and Rin then thinks that amid the stress of this field, he needs to find an even more pleasurable way to destroy ISAGI. However, after that we get into the most exciting thing as the match is back on, as Kiora throws the ball to ISAGI and restarted the game. ISAGI gets it but sends it away to Kaiser right away. He traps it but looks confused, and it's because none other than Rin has gone towards ISAGI to block him. Kaiser thinks that this time he isn't colliding into ISAGI to steal it, but he's now instead staying a step back to keep a close guard. ISAGI thinks that Rin is sticking close to him to block his pass course, and this makes ISAGI wonder if Rin is finally using his head to stop him realistically. This makes ISAGI extremely annoyed, as he knows at this rate Kaiser, whose plays have focused on passes to him, will have fewer options. We then see an extremely cool panel with ISAGI's puzzle pieces kind of separating from Kaiser due to Rin coming in their way. Anyway, Zantetsu screams at them to go in, and Nanas agrees, saying that it's time to press. Kaiser gets annoyed by this, as he says that they have stopped the ball's flow, and that he's now a prime target for PXG. Hey, it's Natsu mid-editing here, and I just wanted to pause the video to ask you to subscribe if you haven't already, and while you're already down there, why not leave a like as well? But just then, as Zantetsu is beginning to get a bit too close to Kaiser, both Kiora and Raichi comes on either side of him and telling him to use them. Kaiser is firstly shocked by this, and he says that his allies know that he is being pressed and came to help him with that. However, the trouble crow Karasu decides to throw himself into the mix, as he says that he won't let them. Kaiser is thankful to have allies around him, but he knows that if they cluster like this, then ISAGI will be left all alone. ISAGI asks Rin if his plan was to separate him and Kaiser, and as a response, Rin just licks himself around his lips. ISAGI then thinks that this is a plan to render himself ineffective. However, we then see his metavision getting active as he says "so what?" and starts to run, which leaves Rin shocked. Isagi thinks that their job is to read this divided field and update their plan with the shortest and best way to a goal. Right after that, we get into Kaiser's thoughts, who says that this is it, and that no matter the circumstances, they will be optimal goal machines. Isagi is continuing to run up on the field with Rin following, but he knows that Kaiser is able to feel him and that he will dodge Rin and get in front of the goal to get in the best position. The players around Kaiser is beginning to get closer, and Kaiser thinks that right now everyone here is looking at him, while he is just looking at Isagi and thinks that one path and one instant is all that he needs. And just as Isagi dashes against Rin, Kaiser's Predator Eyes gets out as he insanely sends away a Kaiser Impact Cross Magnum towards Isagi, which is an attack we have never seen before. Just then, Isagi goes into his god mode and tries to move into Rin's blind spot. Karasu can't believe it, and Nanase is just as shocked by Kaiser's pass. Isagi is getting close and thinks that this is a perfect new design. However, just then, Rin says that this is it, and then somehow he manages to react to the pass and block it with his right foot just in time, saying that he wanted to destroy the connection between them. Isagi can't believe his eyes as he thinks that Rin actually managed to stop this, and wonders if he predicted it, but that would be impossible. Kaiser is just as speechless as Isagi as he thinks that Isagi and him just invented this new idea. We then see that Rin is beginning to kind of morph with his rage aura, as it looks like it's completely eating him alive. But then we see something crazy, because as Rin licks his lips, he says that he found a new toy, and while looking into his eyes, we can clearly see what he means, as he's awakened Predator's eyes, which is absolutely wild, and Isagi can't do anything but look at him in shock, and saying that the genius is mutating. Now this is just insane. But before talking about it, let's talk about the next chapter, as thankfully there's no break next week anyway. The next chapter will be called Blue Bad Boy, which I speculated being about Rin, as he's often associated with the color blue, but also because he just got his insane power up. But I saw some people saying that it could be about Tokumitsu, which I would be so down for, as Tokumitsu has to get into the story more, or else it's done for him. Anyway, now let's talk about this madness of a chapter, and let's start from the beginning with Ness being destroyed by Kaiser, and I feel really bad for Ness, but at the same time Kaiser has a point. What's the reason to have someone who can't evolve alongside the field, and someone who can't bring new and creative ideas to help win the game? I have seen a fair amount of Kaiser hate because of this, but I don't see it, to be honest. They are in the most insane match of their life probably, and they have to figure out a way to win it, which means that some people have to get cut off if they can't handle the heat of the game. But with that said, when Isagi said that nobody expects anything from him anymore because he can't shine without Kaiser, I don't know why, but just from that sentence it made me feel like this isn't the end for Ness. In my opinion, it can go two ways. Firstly, Ness will continue being shit this game, and then instead come back like a totally different person when the World Cup arc starts, or he will have an insane impact on the game in a few chapters. And if I'm being honest, then a lot of things are hinting towards Ness making a comeback in this game. However, I do feel like it has to be some sort of goal if that were the case. And I know Ness is not a goal scorer but a passer, but to really have an impact this late in the game, I won't be satisfied with a pass. Because I feel the same with Kiora. As much as his assist was dope, I kind of forgot about him right after because he had no impact after that. But I do feel like Ness is a really interesting and fun character to speculate about right now, as there's so much left to cover. Now Isagi and his eyes, I'm not sure if this is a new power-up, but in my opinion, his kind of chess eyes seems a bit different from his meta vision eyes. This could potentially hint at a power-up which he desperately needs to become equal with Rin. Now there's no way I could skip talking about Kaiser's new Absolute Wonder Pass. I don't know why we haven't thought about this before, as of course Kaiser Impact would be able to be used as a pass if the receiver is good enough to handle it, but this brings a ton of more potential to their team up and a lot more combinations that they could play around with. Now I don't want to say plot armor, but I was kind of disappointed that Rin stopped this goal. I feel like this would have been a great way to end this match with Isagi and Kaiser teaming up and scoring a goal together, and I don't feel like giving Rin this insanely huge boost was necessary. Like giving him Predator Eyes is extremely cool, but did he need it? Definitely not, as without them, he's just been toying with Kaiser and Isagi this whole game. But this makes me think that it might be Rin who scores the final goal in the end, but I'm very interested in learning about who you believe will score the last goal of this insane match. Anyway, if you like Blue Lock and videos like this, then I would highly suggest you subscribe to this channel, and while you are at it, leave a comment and a like, as it helps out with the algorithm a ton. And if you are curious to see another video of mine, then please watch the video, which will be popping up on the screen now. Anyway, thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye.